This is GovExec Day, where we bring you the federal stories that really matter. It's February 11th, 2021. I'm Ross John Fortune. The Super Bowl is as close to an American holiday without being an actual holiday. In the middle of a global pandemic, the Super Bowl looks different, but the levels of government charged with securing the event are still working behind the scenes to make sure the Super Bowl goes off without incident. The Homeland Security Department is deploying personnel and resources to help law enforcement in Los Angeles this week as Super Bowl 56 descends onto SoFI Stadium. DHS Chief Alejandro Mayorkas told the media on Tuesday that his agency has brought hundreds of staff members to California to aid in the effort.
We have no information of a specific credible threat against the Super Bowl. What this is all about is planning and preparation to prevent any incident from occurring. And it requires the dedication and the tireless work of extraordinary personnel. We in the Department of Homeland Security have dedicated more than 500 individuals from across the department to this effort that, as Kathy stated, started well more than 1 year ago.
In addition to monitoring threats connected to the event, DHS is deploying personnel and resources to help state and local law enforcement agencies combat human trafficking, counterfeit goods sales, and other security risks that are always attached to these kinds of events. Courtney Bublé is a reporter for us here at GovExec. After a short break, she'll join me to talk about the Homeland Security preparations for Super Bowl 56.
This content is brought to you by Oracle Cloud. From securing combat communications to creating actionable intelligence, U.S. warfighters count on Oracle Cloud for mission success. Find out more at oracle.com/DoD.
Super Bowl this weekend will pit the Los Angeles Rams against the Cincinnati Bengals down in Los Angeles. Championship events are targets, though, so the Homeland Security Department is deploying personnel and resources to help law enforcement in Southern California this week as Super Bowl 56 descends onto SoFi Stadium. Courtney Bublé is a reporter for us here at Government Executive. She joins me now to discuss the Homeland Security preparations for Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Welcome back to the show.
Happy to be here.
Okay, so what is the role of DHS involving in the Super Bowl? Are we going to see Alejandro Mayorkas wearing a football helmet and snapping a ball? I know he did say he's a big Rams fan.
Well, that would be great to see. Well, when you think about the Super Bowl, you obviously think about football and commercials and snacks and drinks, but there is a federal agency component. DHS provides support every year to the NFL along with state and local law enforcement officials. And this year is no different with that. More than 500 personnel from DHS from a variety of agencies, or their sub-agencies, will be working to combat human trafficking, cyber threats, counterfeit goods, and a litany of other issues. And just a few examples of the sub-agencies that have been working on Super Bowl related efforts are the Coast Guard, ICE, FEMA, CISA, TSA, the Secret Service, and others. This is the second Super Bowl during the pandemic, which I think we'll get to in a second. But still, that doesn't change, their security preparations, because as you mentioned in the intro, this is, potentially, a target, this massive event.
Is there anything that they've sort of singled out with regards to the pandemic, either this year or last year, or even the stages of the pandemic? Obviously, last year was about a year in. Now we're about 2 years in. The one, in 2020 was as the sort of pandemic was roiling in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, well, this year there'll definitely be more fans in attendance, or they're expected to be more fans in attendance than last year. They did limit it, but there will still be COVID precautions in place at SoFi Stadium. But I spoke with, some DHS officials before we got on this recording, and they said that while, the pandemic is obviously still going on, it hasn't impacted the work that they've been doing. A main issue that DHS looks out for every year is counterfeit sales, jerseys, rings, whatnot. And ICE, which is obviously within DHS, they run Operation Team Player every year in collaboration with other components of DHS and the NFL. And this will start at the end of one Super Bowl and run through the next. And this year, in the lead up to the Super Bowl, they have seized $97.8 million worth of, that's the suggested manufacturer's estimate in goods in the lead up to the game, and that this is up from 44 million last year. However, it's still down from 123 million the year before when the Super Bowl was in Miami, which was the highest ever, they said. The official I spoke with who runs the Intellectual Property Center at DHS, he's the acting official. He attributed this decrease to COVID. However, he did note that as a result of the pandemic, they've seen an increase of fake websites, especially through social media ads like you click on to sell counterfeit goods. So overall, they said that their work is staying the same despite the pandemic, but they do have to adhere to the local public health conditions or restrictions in California, and as well as be on the lookout for these new websites.
Yeah, the California restrictions, albeit a year later, are probably very different than those in Florida last year. I have to think that just that kind of push and pull is certainly at the front of the DHS hive mind. What kind of other stuff, you mentioned counterfeit goods, what kind of other stuff does worry the Homeland Security Department at an event like the Super Bowl or at the Super Bowl specifically?
Sure. So we'll start overall by saying that as has happened in the past, the event was submitted to DHS for a voluntarily for a risk assessment, and DHS deemed the Super Bowl a special event assessment rating level 1, which means that it's a significant event that has national and international importance and would need substantial federal support. Now, something that Yahoo News reported on Wednesday and other news outlets have since reported is that DHS has been warning law enforcement agencies and their partners and other public safety officials that a similar truckers protest that's to what's happening in Canada currently could be happening in the US soon, or it seems like it is being planned, and it could possibly disrupt either or both the State of the Union and the Super Bowl. This truckers protest is over COVID mandates or vaccines and other restrictions, and now there is some concern about this one that's supposedly being planned in the United States, and other issues that DHS is looking out for based off of what they've released is like I said earlier, human trafficking, cyber threats, air and maritime security concerns. So there's a range of issues that they're looking out for, but that's again why they have 500 personnel working on this Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people they're bringing there and how much they're, again, having listened to my Orcas talk about it, how much they're committing to this. Well, let's finish up with some sort of lighthearted stuff just as we go into the weekend. You're a Giants fan. I am a Bears fan. Do you have a prediction? Do you have a rooting interest? Are you looking forward to any commercials or snacks at your Super Bowl gathering or whatever?
I'm just hoping for a good game. As you mentioned, I'm a big New York Giants fan, and we have not been in the Super Bowl for 10 years now. And none of our competitors in the NFC East are in it, so I have nobody to root directly against. But yeah, the halftime show looks great. So I'm excited to see that. And I think it seems based on some of the statistics I've read that I think the Rams have a little bit of an edge. So that would be my takeaway.
Well, I would be rooting against the Packers if they had gotten here, in that the Packers are basically the Bears' main rival, and the Red Wings and the Packers, as far as sports rivalries, are the two that have gone back to when I was a small child. But the Packers are at home thanks to losing to San Francisco. I like the Cincinnati Zoo a lot. It has a very nice presence on Twitter with
I'll have to follow that.
Their famous hippo, Fiona, who is a premature hippo, just turned 6 recently. We're really diving into the mind of Ross here about my wildlife interests and habits. But I really like to make chili for the Super Bowl every year.
Nice.
I have kind of a specialty chili that I make that I'm going to be bringing over to a friend's place, and that's really what I'm most interested in. I'm fine either way. I think the Rams. It's cool when a team wins in their home stadium. In so much as the Super Bowl is a home field stadium, but I don't have any particular rooting interest either, because again, if the Packers were playing, I would be rooting vociferously against them. And if the Bears were in it, and Giants fans have a pretty good, recent Super Bowls, they've won them.
True. I've seen two in my lifetime, but still, it's a rough time being a Giants fan. I do have to.
No way, buddy.
Stand by that.
The Bears are one of the worst run organizations in football, but I'm also, the thing I sort of talk about with some of my friends is that every professional sports team I root for has won a championship in my lifetime. Now the Bears are the earliest, in that they won when I was 4 years old. That's a long time ago, but they were in the Super Bowl in 05 or 06, and they lost to Peyton Manning. But the Super Bowl is always a great time, and certainly for safety wise, the DHS event that they had this weekend in Los Angeles seemed to suggest that they really are trying to keep things on lock as much as they can, but it's always a big job, and hopefully everything goes well. And so Courtney, thanks for being on the show with us.
Of course, enjoy the game.
Thanks for listening to GovExec Daily. Our show was produced by Adam Butler and hosted by me, Ross John Fortuny. We want to thank Courtney Bublé for joining the program. Our music is the song Signals by Catfish Dancing. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can email us any feedback at podcast@govexec.com or hit us up on Twitter @govexec. We'd love to hear from you. We'll talk to you later.